Stories and Documentary Network.
Around 1200 BCE, the world was alive with civilization. Palaces gleamed with gold, bustling ports connected empires, and kings ruled over territories that stretched across the Mediterranean and Near East. Yet almost overnight, this vibrant world fell into chaos. Cities were abandoned, trade routes collapsed, armies vanished, and civilizations that had stood for centuries disappeared into dust and legend. This sudden unraveling is known to historians as the Bronze Age collapse, a dramatic and mysterious turning point in human history. Amid the ruins of this vanished world, evidence emerges of something extraordinary, a deep, almost sacred knowledge of the stars. Across Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Anatolia, ancient peoples gazed at the heavens not simply in wonder, but with purpose. They charted the movements of stars, planets, and moons. They predicted eclipses, the flooding of rivers, and the changing seasons. Astronomy was more than observation. It was intertwined with religion, governance, and survival. Yet much of this knowledge vanished with the collapse. Temples fell silent, observatories were abandoned, and the wisdom of the skies seemed lost. Tonight, we journey into the night sky of the ancient world, tracing the celestial insights that shaped civilizations, and pondering the mysteries that remain. In the heart of the Nile Valley, amid deserts and fertile floodplains, the Egyptians built a civilization as enduring as the stars themselves. For thousands of years, the night sky guided every aspect of life, from agriculture to religion, from royal decrees to monumental architecture. Sirius, the brightest star, rose with a precision that marked the flooding of the Nile, a phenomenon that determined the rhythm of planting and harvesting. The heavens were not a distant spectacle. They were a calendar, a clock, and a sacred map woven into the very fabric of Egyptian society. Priests, who doubled as astronomers, studied the stars with meticulous care. In temples like Heliopolis, they observed solar and lunar cycles, charted the movements of planets, and tracked the heliacal rising of stars. Each celestial event held significance. The alignment of stars could foretell the prosperity of the land, the favor of gods, or the success of a pharaoh's campaign. Knowledge of the heavens was power, an instrument of both governance and divine connection. Egyptian architecture itself reflected this cosmic awareness. The pyramids at Giza are aligned with astounding precision, oriented to cardinal points and possibly to specific stars such as Orion's belt, associated with the god Osiris. Temples and tombs were carefully positioned so that sunlight or starlight would illuminate sacred chambers at precise times of the year, creating a celestial dialogue between stone and sky. Even funerary rituals followed the movement of the stars, guiding the departed on their journey to the afterlife. Hieroglyphs reveal further layers of this astronomical sophistication. Constellations were linked to deities. Celestial animals symbolized divine forces. The Egyptians did not separate the heavens from the earth. They wove them together. A priest reading the sky could interpret cosmic messages that influenced crop cycles, legal decisions, and military strategy. Observatories atop temple complexes allowed for long-term tracking of celestial events, preserving knowledge across generations. Yet Egyptian astronomy was not merely utilitarian. It was poetic, sacred, and deeply entwined with spirituality. Temples dedicated to Ra, the sun god, or Thoth, the god of wisdom, became centers of celestial study. Religious festivals were timed according to the rising and setting of stars, linking human activity to the eternal rhythm of the cosmos. For the common people, the stars were a bridge between the mortal and divine, a constant presence in an ever-changing world. Despite its sophistication, much of this knowledge was vulnerable. Invasions, political turmoil, and the eventual decline of centralized power threatened the continuity of observation. Some astronomical texts survived, carved into stone or preserved on papyrus, but countless insights were lost when temples were desecrated and archives destroyed. Even today, modern scholars struggle to fully decode the depth of Egyptian celestial wisdom, piecing together fragments from tomb walls, star charts, and the orientation of ancient structures. Still, the legacy endures. The Egyptians left a blueprint of celestial observation that would influence later civilizations, from the Greeks to the Romans. Their understanding of the stars was intertwined with their identity, their religion, and their survival. It was a knowledge born of necessity and wonder, of devotion to both the gods and the earth, and of a desire to see humanity's place in the cosmos. As we gaze upon the pyramids under a starlit sky, it is impossible not to feel the resonance of that ancient awareness. Every stone, every alignment, whispers of a civilization that read the heavens with precision, reverence, and purpose. And yet even here, amidst monuments that have withstood millennia, questions remain. How much more did the Egyptians know? What secrets of the cosmos were lost in the upheavals of time? Because as history has shown, even the mightiest civilizations and their celestial knowledge are fragile in the face of change. In the fertile crescent between the Tigris and Euphrates, civilization blossomed under the gaze of the stars. The Sumerians, and later the Babylonians, were not content to merely admire the night sky. They sought to understand it, to chart its movements, and to harness its patterns for human affairs. For them, the cosmos was a vast, living tapestry, a reflection of divine will. Every planet, every constellation, was a messenger from the gods, carrying omens that could determine the fate of kings and kingdoms. Clay tablets unearthed from the ruins of Babylon reveal astonishingly detailed astronomical records. The Enuma, Anu, Enlil, a compendium of celestial omens, chronicles eclipses, comets, and planetary alignments, linking each phenomenon to potential disasters or triumphs on Earth. These ancient observers recognized cycles, the regular dance of Venus, the predictable motion of the moon, and even the subtle shifts of stars across the seasons. Their calculations were meticulous, precise enough to predict eclipses centuries in advance, a feat that astonishes modern scholars. But in Mesopotamia, astronomy was inseparable from governance. Kings consulted priests and scholars before waging war, launching trade expeditions, or making laws. A poorly timed campaign, misaligned with celestial omens, could be seen as courting disaster. The sky was a political tool, a divine ledger in which success and failure were inscribed. Observatories, often atop massive ziggurats, allowed priests to chart the heavens with unparalleled clarity. From these platforms, the movements of stars, planets, and the moon were recorded with painstaking care, ensuring that knowledge could be passed to the next generation. The Mesopotamians also pioneered mathematical astronomy. They divided the sky into sectors, cataloged constellations, and developed systems for predicting planetary positions. Some tablets suggest the use of early trigonometric methods to calculate angles and distances, hinting at a sophistication that would not be matched for centuries. Star charts etched into clay were both scientific instruments and spiritual guides, bridging the gap between observation and interpretation. Yet, even in this cradle of knowledge, fragility was inherent. Tablets were buried, temples destroyed, and invasions swept through cities, scattering centuries of observation. What survived was tantalizing but incomplete. Fragments that hint at a civilization whose understanding of the heavens was both profound and deeply intertwined with human destiny. And as the Bronze Age world teetered, the Babylonians and Sumerians looked to the stars, seeking guidance, comfort, and warning, aware perhaps that their empires, like constellations, could rise and fall in the blink of an eye. The sky remained eternal, but the empires that read it were mortal, leaving us with questions as luminous and mysterious as the stars themselves. In the rugged highlands of Anatolia, the Hittites carved out a kingdom of power, diplomacy, and war. Their society, built upon fortified citadels and expansive trade networks, was deeply attuned to the rhythms of the heavens. For the Hittites, celestial knowledge was practical as well as sacred. They observed lunar cycles and stellar alignments to time agricultural planting, religious ceremonies, and even military campaigns. A rising star could be a harbinger of victory, while an eclipse might forewarn disaster. Across the Aegean, the Mycenaeans mirrored these practices. Their palatial citadels, sprawling roads, and fortified harbors reveal societies acutely aware of both the earth and the sky. Frescoes depict chariots racing beneath star-studded heavens, while ceremonial halls align with solar and lunar events. Even the construction of tombs and sacred sites reflects a cosmic awareness, linking human activity with the eternal dance of stars. In both cultures, the sky was a guide for survival and strategy. Hittite kings and Mycenaean leaders timed campaigns according to celestial cycles, consulting augurs and priests before making decisions that could alter the fate of nations. Agriculture, too, was orchestrated under the guidance of the heavens. Planting and harvesting were aligned with lunar months and stellar appearances, ensuring maximum yield and societal stability. Yet, despite this deep understanding, the Bronze Age collapse spared no one. The Hittites faced invasions and internal strife that toppled their cities. Mycenaean citadels were burned, and trade networks vanished. Even the most careful reading of the stars could not prevent sudden catastrophe. Their astronomical knowledge, painstakingly accumulated over generations, survived only in fragments, etched into tablets, hinted at in architectural alignments, or preserved in myths that would echo through later Greek culture. The contrast is haunting. The heavens remained constant, eternal, and precise, while human empires, so intimately connected to cosmic rhythms, crumbled beneath the weight of invasions, climate upheavals, and social collapse. It is as if the stars themselves were witnesses to a drama they could not intervene in, recording the rise and fall of civilizations that once believed they were guided by the cosmos. And so, in Anatolia and the Aegean, as cities fell silent, the celestial knowledge endured, whispering its secrets only to those who could still read the sky. Across the ancient world, humanity's desire to understand the heavens gave rise to monumental observatories and ingenious tools. Stone circles, pyramids, and ziggurats were more than architectural feats. They were instruments of celestial measurement, bridges between earth and sky. From the deserts of Egypt to the plains of Mesopotamia and across the hills of Anatolia, these structures reveal civilizations that read the stars with astonishing precision. Consider the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, towering platforms that brought priests closer to the heavens. From these lofty vantage points, observers could track the movement of the moon, planets, and stars, noting the subtle shifts in their paths across the seasons. Each observation was recorded meticulously on clay tablets, creating a legacy of knowledge that endured for centuries. Similarly, in Egypt, temple rooftops and solar alignments allowed for the prediction of solstices and the timing of agricultural cycles. Pyramids at Giza and temples across the Nile were oriented to align with specific stars, such as Orion's belt, reflecting both religious devotion and precise astronomical calculation. In Europe, megalithic structures like Stonehenge stand as enigmatic monuments to celestial observation. Stones are aligned with solstices, eclipses, and lunar cycles, creating a physical calendar that marks the passage of time with remarkable accuracy. Even without written records, these alignments reveal that ancient peoples possessed a sophisticated understanding of the sky. Artifacts also attest to advanced astronomical knowledge. The Nebra sky disk, a Bronze Age creation from Central Europe, depicts the sun, moon, and stars in remarkable detail. Babylonian clay planispheres charted the movement of planets, while Egyptian star charts recorded the heliacal rising of key stars. These tools were not merely for scientific curiosity. They were guides for agriculture, navigation, religious ritual, and political authority. Yet despite their ingenuity, these observatories and instruments were fragile. Invasions, natural disasters, and societal collapse destroyed much of this knowledge. Some stones were toppled, tablets broken, and observatories abandoned. Today, we piece together their legacy from fragments of artifacts, scattered ruins, and the silent testimony of aligned stones, trying to reconstruct a worldview that placed human life in direct conversation with the cosmos. As we trace these ancient observatories, a profound question emerges. How much more did our ancestors know about the heavens? And what secrets vanished when these civilizations fell, leaving only stone and clay as witnesses to their brilliance? In the ancient world, celestial knowledge was more than observation. It shaped every facet of life. Societies interpreted the heavens as a reflection of divine order, believing that harmony with the cosmos ensured stability on Earth. Kings, priests, and rulers drew authority from their ability to read the sky, timing wars, rituals, and agricultural cycles according to celestial patterns. The stars were not distant points of light. They were guides, omens, and divine interlocutors. Religious practices were intertwined with astronomy. Temples were aligned with solstices, lunar cycles, and stellar risings. Festivals and sacrifices coincided with celestial events, creating a rhythm of life that mirrored the movement of the heavens. The heliacal rising of stars like Sirius marked agricultural milestones and inspired mythological narratives that reinforced social cohesion. Deities were mapped onto constellations, their stories woven into the night sky to instruct, warn, and inspire. In Egypt, priests acted as both astronomers and spiritual guides. Observations dictated the timing of rituals, the flooding of the Nile, and the reign of pharaohs. In Mesopotamia, celestial omens shaped legal decisions, trade, and diplomacy. A poorly timed campaign or ritual could invite disaster, while favorable alignments promised prosperity and divine favor. Knowledge of the heavens conferred authority, creating a society where cosmic insight was synonymous with power. Even warfare was influenced by celestial understanding. The Hittites and Mycenaeans, for example, timed military campaigns according to lunar cycles and stellar positions. Certain alignments were believed to favor victory or forewarn of calamity. The sky became both a battlefield and a guide as human strategy sought to align with cosmic order. Yet, the collapse of the Bronze Age disrupted this harmony. Invasions, famine, and societal upheaval shattered the institutions that preserved celestial knowledge. Temples fell silent, observatories were abandoned, and the wisdom encoded in stars and stones became fragmented. Myths lost their context, calendars became meaningless, and rituals were forgotten. The cosmic order that once governed human life was obscured, leaving civilizations vulnerable to forces they had once believed they could interpret or control. Despite this, echoes of celestial influence endured. Mythology, architectural alignments, and surviving texts remind us that for ancient peoples, the stars were a blueprint for understanding life, society, and the divine. They reveal a world where observation of the heavens was not idle curiosity, but an essential tool for survival, governance, and spiritual connection. As we study these societies today, we are confronted with both awe and mystery. The heavens remain constant, yet the civilizations that depended upon them have vanished. What was lost in the collapse of the Bronze Age may never be fully recovered, but the imprint of the stars on human history remains, whispering lessons from a time when the sky and society were inseparable. The fragments of the past speak volumes if we know how to listen. Across the ancient world, archaeology has unearthed a wealth of evidence that reveals the profound celestial knowledge of lost civilizations. In Mesopotamia, clay tablets etched with cuneiform describe planetary movements, eclipses, and star charts with remarkable precision. The Enuma, Anu, and Lil, a compendium of omens and celestial observations, records how lunar eclipses could foretell famine or political upheaval. These texts demonstrate that the ancients sought to interpret the heavens not as idle curiosity, but as a guide to earthly affairs. Egypt offers a parallel legacy. Star charts, inscriptions on temple walls, and the precise orientation of pyramids and tombs reflect an advanced understanding of astronomy. The pyramids of Giza, aligned to cardinal points and possibly to Orion's belt, suggest that knowledge of the stars was integrated into both religious practice and monumental architecture. Even mortuary rituals were timed according to celestial cycles, ensuring the soul's safe journey into the afterlife. Artifacts, too, tell their own story. The Nebra sky disk from Central Europe depicts the sun, moon, and stars with astonishing clarity for its time. Babylonian planispheres chart the positions of planets and constellations, functioning as early scientific instruments. In Greece, later astronomers inherited this celestial heritage, codifying observations into mathematical frameworks that would influence Western astronomy for centuries. Yet the archaeological record is tantalizingly incomplete. Many texts were destroyed, artifacts lost, and observatories abandoned. What remains are fragments, clues pointing to a civilization deeply attuned to the cosmos, but whose full understanding may forever elude us. Still, each discovery reveals a sophisticated worldview, one where humans sought to align their lives, their societies, and their faith with the eternal patterns of the stars. Even in ruins, The evidence whispers of a knowledge system that was both scientific and spiritual. From clay tablets to temple alignments, from megalithic stones to illuminated manuscripts, the ancients left behind a testament. The sky was a guide, a mirror of divine order, and a chronicle of human destiny. And yet, the mystery persists. How much more was known, and what vanished in the collapse of civilizations that once flourished under these same stars? The Bronze Age collapse was more than the destruction of cities and trade. It was the loss of accumulated wisdom. Among the ruins lie echoes of knowledge, tantalizing and incomplete. Observatories toppled, libraries burned, tablets shattered. What once connected human society to the rhythms of the cosmos now lies hidden, fragmented, or lost entirely. Some civilizations preserved fragments of knowledge. Egypt maintained astronomical observation for centuries, and Babylonian texts influenced later Greek astronomy. Yet much was irrevocably lost. Calculations, star charts, and ritual knowledge vanished, leaving gaps that modern scholars struggle to fill. Were there methods, insights, or interpretations that surpassed even the records we now possess? It is a question without answer, a mystery suspended among the stars themselves. The collapse may have been both abrupt and complex. Invasions, natural disasters, famine, and economic disruptions swept through the eastern Mediterranean, erasing not only populations but the systems that maintain knowledge. Priests, scribes, and astronomers, the guardians of celestial understanding, were scattered, killed, or silenced. As human structures fell, so too did the transmission of insight. Yet, the fragments that remain hint at extraordinary sophistication. Alignments of monuments, surviving tablets, and ritual practices suggest civilizations that saw themselves as participants in a cosmic order. They measured time, predicted celestial events, and interpreted signs from the heavens in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. The question lingers: how much more did they know before it was lost? In the end, the mystery is as enduring as the stars themselves. The collapse did not erase the heavens. It only obscured humanity's understanding of them. What we see today, the temples, pyramids, and scattered texts, offers glimpses of an ancient dialogue between man and cosmos. And it is a dialogue that still sparks wonder, curiosity, and the haunting realization that the universe once whispered its secrets to civilizations, now vanished from memory. The Bronze Age collapse reminds us of the fragility of human achievement. Cities fell, kingdoms vanished, and knowledge was scattered like dust upon the wind. Yet even amidst the ruins, the stars endured, eternal and indifferent, witnessing the rise and fall of empires. Ancient civilizations, from Egypt to Mesopotamia, Anatolia to the Aegean, left behind a testament to human curiosity and ingenuity. They measured the heavens, interpreted celestial signs, and wove the cosmos into the very fabric of society. Even in fragments, their astronomical wisdom continues to inspire, revealing a world in which the sky and human destiny were intertwined. As we gaze at the night sky today, it is worth remembering that these ancient observers once traced the same constellations, recorded the same cycles, and sought meaning in the same celestial dance. Their legacy endures not only in stone and text, but in the timeless allure of the stars, a reminder that while civilizations may fall, the quest to understand the heavens is eternal. The stars remain, silent witnesses to our history and to the mysteries that even the greatest civilizations could not fully unravel.